So I've just got done writing, filming and editing a two-part tips and tricks video series for the Oneplus 15 and Oxygen OS16. And guess what happened? As soon as I published those two videos, OnePlus released a brand new update for Oxygen OS with some brand new customization and personalization features. So when I saw that, I was like,
oh shit, here we go again.
So here are another 15 personalization tips and tricks for Oxygen OS 16 that I didn't mention in the previous videos. Some of them are brand new and some of them are old school classics. Anyway, let's get into this. So one of the features that I felt was missing on the OnePlus software was the ability to stack widgets. And now, guess what? You can do it, but it can only be the square one. So let me show you how to set this up. If you hold your finger on a blank part of the home screen, go to widget, bottom left corner, tap here. This is where all the widgets live. Now it's worth noting that not every single widget is compatible with this, but some third-party widgets are, which is nice. So let's say, for example, we go to digital wellbeing. It's a 2x2 square. Let's add that. Now, if I hold my finger down on the home screen again, go back to widgets, and this time let's go with, let's say, the IR blaster. Again, it's a 2x2 square, so we'll add that. Now what we can do is actually drag this on top of the existing widget, and now this one single space for this widget now holds two widgets, and you can have even more. I have set up some on my home screen right here. So I've got the screen time widget. I've got the ability to clean the backgrounding very quickly from the home screen, and I've also got the IR remote here. So I've got to set that up with my TVs. And then I've also got the voice recorder, which is very powerful. And if you hold your finger on this, you can actually expand the stack and see all of them like this as well. So that is a really nice addition to Oxygen OS. So you'll notice some of my widgets here have this custom bluish purple color. And actually, whilst I was playing around with this, I discovered something brand new, which will allow you to customize system colors even more. And actually, it's pretty fantastic. I haven't seen this on any other devices yet. So right now I've got this Wolverine wallpaper. It's got yellow and blue and purple and all these nice colors, and it all works very, very nicely. If you hold your finger down on the home screen and go to wallpaper and style, and here, if you go to system colors and then see this bottom row, if you go all the way to the end, there is the custom wallpaper colors. What the phone will now do is allow you to manually select colors from your wallpaper by dragging these dots around. The best way to do this though is to not apply an effect to the wallpaper first. Right now I've got the read effect. I'm going to get rid of that. So I'm just going to change the wallpaper back to the original effect so there's no reads down it. So you can see why I applied the read effect to the wallpaper. It just kind of softens all the lines and it makes it less distracting. Right now you can see all of the icons and things are getting washed away. Anyway, hold your finger down on the home screen, go to wallpaper and style. Now if you go to system colors and scroll down to custom here in the bottom right corner, custom wallpaper colors, this brings up 4 dots that allow you to pick the exact colors you want for your theme. So for example, let's say I want a yellow and I want a blue from the wallpaper, and then I want a light blue from the wallpaper as well, and maybe a purplish color from somewhere down here. So there we go. Now I've manually chosen 4 specific colors for my color palette based off the colors of the wallpaper. Now if we go back and back again, hit apply. So now it's applied those system colors to the Google widgets, and also within the settings menu, all of those colors will be applied there too. Now I can go back into the wallpaper settings and add that effect again. So there we go. That's more of an expert way of selecting all of the system colors. Okay, here is another customization tweak that you can make on Oxygen OS devices, and it is in regards to apps. So you get a couple of options here. If you take an app, let's say this one right here, hold your finger down on it, you get this little line in the bottom right corner. You can now make that a bigger version of that app. So if you have an app that you use all the time, for example, me, I use YouTube all the time, you can make it bigger and make it take up more space on the home screen, making it easier to access. Now, there is something I wish that OnePlus would add to the software, and that would be the ability to stack these big square apps on top of square widgets. You can't do that just yet, but there is another workaround for that for certain apps. So for example, if you hold your finger down on the home screen and go to widgets, and then I'm going to go to Instagram for this one. Instagram actually has a 2x2 widget, which is just a big app icon. So these kind of things can be stacked if they're available for the app that you want to stack. So there we go. If I wanted the shortcut to Instagram, I could have it there in the widget stack. Now here is another modifier for app icons. So I'm just going to drag the maps out of the way just so I can show you this one. I'm going to grab the YouTube Music app and move it across. Now if I hold my finger down on the YouTube Music app, the little line pops up in the bottom right corner. If we drag this out, you get 3 spaces and these little pluses right here. So if you tap the plus, you can actually add more controls to that individual app. There's only one additional control here. Some of the other apps actually have more than this. So let me give you an example. The Oneplus camera app down here, I actually just expanded to take up those 2 spaces as opposed to 1. But one of the other options you have, if you drag it out, you get the little pluses just like before. And this is where you can choose to add quick shortcuts to features within that specific app. So if you want a button to jump straight into your video camera, you can just tap here. And if you want a shortcut that takes you straight to the selfie camera, you can just tap here. Now we've got these 2 extra controls right here on the home screen. So we don't have to open the app and navigate to those specific features. We can just do it in one. Something else I didn't show to you guys in the previous video is the options that you have when it comes to folders. So I'm just going to grab the Google folder right here and drag it onto the other page just so we have some more space. So if you hold your finger down on this app folder now, you'll see the option to enlarge the folder. You can also rename the folder if you want to, and you can ungroup it. So that will just spread the apps around where it is on the screen as opposed to within the folder. But check this out, at the top, you have these other organizational options. So if you want it sort of classic style, just like this, you can do that. These are actually openable just by tapping on them, but you have to be quite accurate. And if you want to get to all of the other apps in the folder, you hit the little bunched up ones in the corner. But then if you hold your finger down, you can actually change it to bigger app icons. And if you do it again, there's this one, which is my favorite, where you get one big app icon and then smaller ones around it. So what you can do within the folder is actually move the most important app to the first position. And that way, that will be the big app in this app folder. And there is even one more step to this. If you hold your finger down on this and grab that line and drag it up, you can make it horizontal like that. And also, if you grab it again and drag it this way, it can be vertical. So this just allows you to make better use of the space that you have on your home screens so that you can make your home screens look even more unique. So you'll notice I have a lot of widgets and a lot of folders and things going on this home screen. And one of the reasons I have so much stuff here is because of this. When you go into your home screen settings by holding down your finger on the home screen and go into home screen settings, you can actually change the layout here, which is normally set to 4 to 5. And that way you could just have way more stuff on display at once. You can also turn off or turn on the icon names here if you prefer. I actually like to have them off because I know what all of these apps are just by looking at them. I don't need to read the text. Now here is a really fun feature to play around with. This is one of the brand new ones. So if you go to your voice recorder, I've actually added it here to my widget stack at the top. What you can actually do is record some audio to then be used as a ringtone. So you can actually get your friends to say something like, hey, pick up the phone or something like that, or even record a bit of audio of a favorite track or something, and then set that to a ringtone for a specific person. So let me just record one real quick. Hey, it's Troy from What Gear. For the love of God, pick up the phone. So now when you go into the voice recorder, just save that recording, select it, and then here in the top right corner, you can now set it as a ringtone. And if you want, you could even record your own alarm ringtone as well, which could be quite fun. So once you've set that as a ringtone, now when you go into your phone book, select the contact, go to the ringtone right here, and you can go to on device. And then here you'll find the recording section where you can select that recording for that contact. And actually the first step where I said set it as ringtone, that actually changed the entire system ringtone. So you might not want to do that. I would recommend you set these up individually. Okay, here's a feature that's not fully finished yet, but it is quite nice and it's worth taking a look at. So if you go into your settings and then scroll down to system and update, and then here, if you go to the system navigation section, scroll down a little bit, and this is where you'll find it. Swipe animations beta, switch this on. It allows you to have a peek back at the previous page without fully navigating all the way back. So when you're switching back and forth between 2 apps or 2 settings pages, like I am right here, you can have a glance at what was before without fully committing to that gesture. So that's quite a nice little feature. The reason it's a beta feature right now is because it doesn't work everywhere and between every single app, but it's definitely worth testing it out to see where it does, because it could be useful. Here's another little usability hack. So As standard, you've got these little dots down here representing the pages that you have set up, and then also the Google Discover page. Now, if you hold your finger down on this, of course, you can jump between them very, very quickly as well if you want to. But we can actually add another tool to this little panel here. If you hold your finger down on the home screen, go to home screen settings, here you'll see the option to show the search bar at the bottom. So switch this on. Now when you're on the home screen and you're not navigating around, it will show the search button. And this is very, very useful because you can do a full system search. If you're looking for a specific setting, you can type it in here, or even use your voice. For example, display settings. This will take you exactly where you need to be within the system settings very easily and without having to look for it yourself. And also you can search for things within the apps, and you can also use these quick tools here to clean up junk files and things. So it's a nice little shortcut to a lot of things, and it's definitely worth setting up in my opinion on day one. Here's a little security measure to put in place, which I didn't mention in the previous videos, and it could actually result in you getting your phone back if you do lose it one day. So once again, within the settings, this time we're going to go to home screen and lock screen right here, and then scroll down to where you see lock screen settings. In my opinion, it's definitely worth setting up a lock screen signature. You can write whatever you want, and this is visible on the lock screen if someone does find your phone and it is still locked. So now that I've set it up, let me show you what it looks like. There we go. Ideally, you'd want to put a family member's phone number or something like that so that if someone does find it, they can phone that number and get in contact with you very quickly. And that's assuming they're not planning to steal your phone. If you watched part 1 of this 3-part series, I actually showed some settings to switch on that can help in that worst case scenario. Okay, here's another little change that OnePlus have made with their latest update. If you go to settings, then go to home screen and lock screen and style, scroll down to where you see more, tap here, and then go to fingerprint animation. There are some new animations and some upgrades to the existing ones. I think this melodic one might be quite new, and I think they've improved the ring one right here. So have a look at this. I actually don't remember what the previous ones were before I did the update, but they did mention it in the notes for the update that they've made changes here. So have a look at these, explore these, and see which one you like the best. So this phone, straight out of the box, is definitely one of the most powerful phones out there right now. But actually, you can make it even more powerful. And I wish I added this to my part 1 video, but I must have forgotten. So let me show you how to get to it. If you go to settings, scroll down to where you see battery, tap on this, and here is where you can find the high performance mode. So this kind of just enhances the entire performance of the phone. And if you want to, you can actually use bypass charging. So if you're gaming, you could fully max out the gaming potential of this phone whilst keeping the power consistent without heating up the battery. So that's quite nice as well. It's probably also worth taking note of the super power saving mode if you ever need it. That's right here also. So I know some people coming over from iPhone don't particularly like all of these icons here that you get at the top of the screen on Android devices. And actually, you can get rid of these if you really want to, if they're bothering you. All you need to do is go into your settings, scroll down to notifications and quick settings. At the top, you'll see the status bar. If you tap on this, here you can switch off anything that you don't want showing up here permanently on the status bar. So I could turn these all off. Maybe keep the alarm and the do not disturb on. And here you can also customize the battery style. So right now it's vertical. If you prefer the horizontal, that is an option. And there's even a loop option if you prefer that. I actually think the horizontal one's probably the best. So I'm going to go with that. And you can also add the percentage inside the battery to free up even more space up here in the top right corner. Okay, there is an old school OnePlus feature here. This is an absolute classic, something that I used to use way back on the OnePlus 2. And if you've never used a OnePlus device before, these features might come as quite a surprise to you. So let me show you what I'm talking about. If you go into the settings, scroll down to accessibility and convenience, and then scroll down again to gestures and motions. And at the top of this page, you'll find the screen off gestures. So these ones at the top are preset. You can just switch these on if you want. So you can double tap to turn the screen on and off. That's pretty standard. If you draw a circle on the off screen, that will wake the camera, and a V will turn on the torch. But it's down here where it gets really interesting, because you can map these gestures to do whatever you want them to do. For example, if we turn on the M and tap on it, now we can choose the specific app. So M could be for Mindspace, for example. And now when we switch the phone off and let it rest, just draw the M, and it straight away jumps into the Mindspace app. So set these gestures up to do what you want them to do. One of them could be your music app, another one could be your wallet, one of them could be Mindspace. It can be anything you want it to be. And it just makes getting to where you want to go when you pick up your phone that little bit more efficient. So here's another really cool feature. If you go back one step, staying within the gestures and motions settings page, here you actually have a feature called air gestures. So this really is quite a unique feature, although you wouldn't use it that often. So the best use case for this, in my opinion, is if you're cooking and you don't want to touch your phone with your hands, you can actually answer calls with these gestures like so, and it actually explains how to do it. And once you set it up, there is a tutorial. It is a little bit tricky to get the hang of at first, but if you want to use it, just switch this on. So I know some of you guys will be watching this and be wondering, where the hell did I get this clock from? I get this question a lot. And actually, this is the official Google clock. If you want to download and set this up for yourself, all you need to do is go into the Play Store, go to search, type in Google Clock, and it is the official one. Make sure it's this one here from Google LLC. Install this, and then the widget comes with it. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this quick unscripted update of some of the new features available now on Oxygen OS 16. There is still more stuff I can show you guys, but I've made 3 videos now. I don't know if I want to make a 4th one. If you got any tips of your own, let me know in the comments below. If you didn't check out part 1 and part 2 of this now 3-part video series, those will be on screen right now as well. You can go check those out. If you got any value out of this one, a little thumbs up would be appreciated. And if you haven't subscribed yet, well then, because then you'll be one of the finest subscribers known to man. Appreciate you guys. See you in the next one.